Now on CoastTV News.
Plane plans as the FAA reduces air travel. What Delawareans fear ahead of the holidays.
Shutdown stress continues from families struggling to afford food and federal workers going without paychecks. What a new report says about consumer anxiety.
It's a breezy and mild Friday evening with a 50-50 weekend on the way. Dry and mild Saturday, showers Sunday, and then a blast of winter weather early next week. I'll have all the details on that coming up.
This is CoastTV News at 5.
Travel trouble, cancellations, delays, and drama.
Good evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis.
And I'm Charlie Sakaitis. We begin tonight with the government shutdown and the impact on air travel. The FAA says they're reducing air traffic by 4%, a number that will eventually bump up to 10%. The reduction started Friday morning across 40 high-volume markets. The agency claiming this is a safety precaution as air traffic controllers show signs of strain. Coast TV News reporter Emma Aiken is in our newsroom. Emma, this is going to hurt several airports closest to Delmarva.
Charlie, the Philadelphia International Airport, BWI, the DC airports, and the New York City airports are all affected by these cuts. And we spoke with people today who rely on these hubs and are worried about getting home for the holidays, especially ahead of Thanksgiving.
It's those crashing waves that make people happy to call Delaware home, but that's not to say travel doesn't call every now and again. That's the reality for Carol Smith and her husband, who are planning to fly for the upcoming Thanksgiving holiday.
We're just doing something different and going out to Las Vegas to see some shows and go to the Grand Canyon and Hoover Dam. Just spend some time doing something different for the holidays.
Smith says they plan to fly out of one of the DC airports.
A lot of it, the trip is obviously already paid for because it's coming up.
But the record-breaking government shutdown leading the FAA to cut down the number of flights out of 40 high-volume markets like DC, Smith says it's stressful.
It is really disconcerting that, we have to worry about it. We have to wonder what's going on. Are the airports going to be open or...
Annette Nero Stellhorn with Accent on Travel says she thinks the government will be reopened by Thanksgiving, but in the meantime says inconveniences can range anywhere from longer TSA lines to canceled flights.
I would highly suggest to get to the airport a half hour earlier than you were planning originally, right? So even for international, if you've checked in early, get there 2 to 2.5 hours minimally, and then of course with US an hour and a half prior to.
So while travelers brace for turbulence in the skies, it might just be smoother sailing for those who drive or even choose to stay right here on the coast.
Accent on Travel says if you are planning to buy a flight soon, make sure to buy insurance with it because these type of travel disruptions are typically covered under insurance, and make sure to turn on travel alerts on your phone through your airline. Charlie.
Flight reductions at airports across the country will almost certainly impact travelers in Wicomico County. From Salisbury Airport, you can fly to Philadelphia, Charlotte, Orlando. In all three cities, those are facing cuts. Salisbury Airport Director Tony Rudy says this will likely cause delays or cancellations for local travelers. He says people should keep a close eye on any upcoming trips.
Hopefully in this day and age, most people are using a phone app for their flight. Those get updated pretty regularly by the airline, so as long as they're keeping focus on that, they'll know exactly what's going on with their flight.
Both Breeze Airways and American Airlines do have mobile apps, so you can get up-to-date flight information by going to the website as well. This brings us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know, who do you blame for the government shutdown?
Let's see. Let's take a look at the results here. Almost perfectly split in half. 52% say Democrats, 48% say Republicans.
And this is the first time we've run the poll tonight. You can go vote. You can even leave a comment at coasttv.com or use our mobile app.
And while flight cancellations across the country make headlines, the 38-day government shutdown is squeezing Americans in other ways.
And a new report shows that adding to consumer anxiety, Karen Kafa has the latest on the shutdown's economic impact.
The economic toll of the record-breaking U.S. government shutdown keeps widening, from SNAP recipients in the middle of a legal back and forth over November benefits.
I've been disabled since birth, so I rely on food stamps and Social Security to survive. I've been struggling. It's been really hard. I've literally been eating spaghetti for 4 days because it's all I have in my apartment.
Two government workers on the job without pay for more than a month, leaning on food banks and food drives.
Some of them, it's brought them to tears with the support that they've seen from the community and the outreach.
And small businesses feeling the squeeze of both higher prices and struggling consumers.
They're buying things that they can throw in their freezer and stretch to the last, towards the end of the month as well, because we don't know what's going to happen.
It all has Americans feeling worse about the overall economy, according to the latest University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey released Friday. The October index fell to its lowest level since June of 2022, when inflation peaked at a 4-decade high. Top White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett told Fox Business Friday the lengthy shutdown's economic impact is far worse than expected.
There are pockets that are really hurting, and if we go another month or so, then who knows how bad the economy could be this quarter.
Friday was supposed to bring the federal government's latest look at the labor market, but October's monthly jobs report, like September's, is on hold because of the shutdown. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
The state of Delaware distributed food relief funds today. Money has been loaded onto almost 60,000 Delawareans' EBT cards, and this is Governor Matt Meyer's response to the federal government shutdown. He dispersed $5.2 million total to the EBT accounts of people in need. Additional weekly deposits may be issued this month. People will be notified by text and email when their benefits have loaded.
Let's go ahead and take a live look outside into Ocean View. A gorgeous shot there, but we need to know what the weather's going to be doing as we head into the weekend. We're going to our meteorologist, Bob Trihe. Bob, what are we expecting?
It turned out to be a mild Friday afternoon, but boy, did it start cold, essentially ending the growing season this morning. Coldest morning this morning in Georgetown since April 9th of this year was 28 degrees. This morning, a frosty 32 degrees. I'll take a look at more of those low temperatures coming up a little bit later on, but a nice recovery this afternoon. 64 in Georgetown, Ocean City 62, Salisbury up to 65 with 63 in Easton, and right now still pretty mild out there. We've got cloud cover and a southerly breeze. 59 in Millsboro, 60 in Lewis and Redden right now with Laurel at 60. Willard, you're checking in with 56, and Bethany Beach right now at 58 degrees. The winds have been with us all day, and they're still pretty breezy this evening, and it's best not to burn until we get some appreciable rain because it is dry and breezy and mild. And those southerly winds still gusting over 20 miles per hour, so it will be a breezy evening. As we're looking at the satellite picture, we have a lot of high clouds out there right now, but nothing in the way of precipitation, but there is some rain from West Virginia into New York right now with a weak cold front, and some of those showers could be moving in very, very late tonight, but very weak cold front and not a lot of cold air behind this front, but wait until early next week. That's when it gets really cold. This evening, we're looking at a southerly breeze with high clouds and temperatures pretty much staying in the 60s, so looking great for those outdoor activities and staying dry. Still dry at midnight, but then things start to change overnight with that front getting closer, maybe a few sprinkles as we get closer to sunrise. But this evening is mainly cloudy with temperatures hovering right around 60 with gusty winds. But once again, the big change is early next week as we're looking at a blast of winter on the way. Get ready. I'll have more on that and your weekend forecast coming up a little bit later on.
Thank you, Bob. Seaford police are speaking out about an incident involving immigration and customs enforcement. Police say yesterday ICE was attempting to take someone into custody in the parking lot of Lowe's in Seaford. Police say the suspect physically resisted federal agents and hid under a utility trailer. Seaford officers assisted in moving that trailer so that ICE could arrest the suspect. Police say the person sustained a minor injury. And in a statement today, Seaford Police said in part, quote, "We do not participate in civil immigration enforcement. We take our responsibility for the safety and security of all of our community members very seriously. However, when situations involving federal partners turns into a criminal investigation, as it did yesterday, we are legally allowed to and will assist as we would for any criminal investigation within our jurisdiction," unquote.
Wendy's planning to close hundreds of its restaurants when the closures are scheduled to start.
Here's a live look into Laurel on the Tyndall's Casual Furniture Camp. 60 right now with hazy conditions out there. Congratulations to Edward Vreeland from Frankfurt on winning a brand new umbrella from Paul Davis and Coast TV. More in your weekend forecast and that winter blast headed our way coming up a little bit later on.
But first, what's happening this weekend? There's fun activities, ways to honor veterans, even a little chaos. Stay tuned for some cool things to do up next.
This is Coast TV News at 5.
If you have ever wanted to chuck a pumpkin as far as you can, dress up like it's the Middle Ages, I did that last weekend, or watch incredible independent films, you gotta pay attention. Here's Christina DeRobertis with your cool things to do this weekend.
Filmmakers and film lovers can head to the Cinema Art Theater all weekend long for the annual Rehoboth Beach International Film Festival. Attendees can enjoy more than 100 films, from global dramas to local documentaries, and don't worry, there's plenty of popcorn to go around. You're going to want in on this pumpkin throwing competition at Big Chill Surf Cantina in Rehoboth on Saturday. It's the 8th annual Sling and Squash. Whoever throws their pumpkin the farthest wins a $100 cash prize. It's the last weekend for the Delaware Renaissance Fair, and if you don't go now, you have to wait until next November for all the sword fighting and fire blowing. The Mare Institute, you might know, rescues adorable and vulnerable animals up and down the coast year-round. And on Saturday in Rehoboth Beach, Mare is hosting its annual Fin Raiser. You can enjoy food, music, and wine, all while supporting the Institute. And remember, Veterans Day is coming up on Tuesday, and this Sunday, the Rehoboth Concert Band is honoring our nation's heroes with Duty, Honor, Country, a tribute to veterans at 3 p.m. at Cape Henlopen High School. You can head over to CoastTV.com and click on Cool Things to Do for event details, tickets, and more.
All in all, not a bad Friday. We started out icy cold. We'll take a look at those lows coming up, but then a nice recovery this afternoon into the 60s. And look at this gorgeous sunset on the Gutter Helmet Cam. 58 in Ocean View. We've got a lot of high clouds out there right now. Nothing in the way of precipitation as we have the clouds and a breeze this evening. That'll keep our temperature steady in the 50s to right around 60 degrees. So pretty pleasant this evening. Not so much this morning. It was basically the end of the growing season. Look at these lows. 29 in Salisbury and Ocean City, Dagsboro and Millsboro both at 30 degrees this morning, really cold. Georgetown 32 and Cambridge at 34 degrees. And as far as the last time we saw it really cold, well, that was April 9th of this year. It was 28 degrees, and this morning, once again, in Georgetown, 32. Much milder as we go through the overnight hours, and it's pretty mild right now. 59 in Georgetown, 60 in Redden, 57 in Gumboro and Dagsboro, 58 in Millsboro, with 58 in Bethany Beach and Rehoboth right now at 58. We still have southerly winds that are pretty strong, and as I mentioned earlier, it's dry, it's mild, and with the low humidity, really don't burn until we get some appreciable rain as the fire danger is higher. And we're seeing those winds right now sustained 8 to 16 miles per hour and gusting to 21 Indian River Inlet, 17 in Millsboro. So it's still going to be breezy as we go through the evening hours. And for Friday night lights, we're looking at, well, really good conditions and mild, around 60 at kickoff, 58 at halftime. So breezy and really not as cold as we're looking at a lot of clouds moving in right now. The bark is worse than the bite, nothing in the way of rain. However, we are seeing showers from New York into Kentucky with a weak front, and this will fall apart, but some of those showers could move through tonight with the weak front, but this is a serious cold front across the northern plains. Icy air is gathering across Canada into the northern plains, and that's our shot of very cold air as we go into early next week. Here's our weekend planner. Saturday, 69 degrees, looking mostly sunny, and then Sunday, 68 with some showers at that time. So I think we're looking at a 50-50 weekend. Here's Futurecast this evening. Temperatures falling through the 60s. In fact, not falling very much. By 9:30, we're into the mid-60s. By 11:30, mid-60s, and with the breeze, it's staying mild pretty much all night. And then that chance of some showers very late tonight into Saturday morning. And then, we might get a brief shower tomorrow morning. Otherwise, we're looking at a mild day behind the cold front. Not a lot of cold air. In fact, 60s to close to 70 as we go into the afternoon on your Saturday. Friday. A little cooler at the beaches, and then pretty mild as we go into Saturday night, Sunday morning. Temperatures in the 50s. Then maybe some heavier showers and maybe a thunderstorm as we go into Sunday with a strong southerly flow. And then we go into Monday, and that's when the really cold air builds in. But as we go into Sunday evening, that's when we're looking at that chance of showers and maybe a thunderstorm. Along the coast on Saturday, mid-60s from Lewis to Dewey Beach, 66 in Bethany Beach, 68 in Chincoteague, as those winds are gusty this evening, and then turning to the west and northwest behind that front on Saturday, but pretty light as we're watching that Arctic front that will be building in as we go into Monday. It's possible we could see a few flurries or showers, especially farther south on the peninsula as we go into Tuesday morning, as we see a really deep trough across the east. Grab the winter coat. Monday and Tuesday, showers, maybe some flurries, highs in the 40s, lows in the 20s and 30s, and wind chills into the 20s as we go into Tuesday morning. 55 tonight, partly cloudy, breezy, and mild, and then into tomorrow, 69 with a morning shower possible, otherwise partly cloudy. Paul Davis 7-day forecast. Showers Sunday, 68, and then 51 Monday, and temperatures plummeting to about 30 by Tuesday morning, 46 on Tuesday. Sunshine for Veterans Day, just cold and dry, and then warming into the 50s Wednesday, mid to upper 50s Thursday into Friday.
All right, thanks, Bob. Delaware agriculture officials have confirmed a presumptive case of bird flu in Kent County. Officials say a backyard flock was tested because it had an unusually high number of bird deaths, and the flock tested positive for avian influenza. The Department of Agriculture has quarantined the property, and this is the first detection of bird flu in Delaware during the current migratory season. Experts are urging flock owners to boost biosecurity. Anyone noticing sick or dying birds is asked to contact the Delaware Poultry Health Hotline.
It is another week in the NFL regular season. This week on Coast TV, the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on those LA Chargers. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Then you're going to want to stay tuned right here on Coast TV for news right after the game.
And coming up tonight on the Delmarva Sports Network at 6 p.m., it's Down and Distance. Then at 6:30, catch Scoops and Scores. Your game of the night live at 7 p.m., Indian River taking on Lake Forest in high school football. And at 10:30, it's Nittany Game Week and the final score at 11. For your DSN Plus exclusives, along with that Indian River football game, here's some more football games happening across Delmarva. At 7 p.m., Laurel takes on Delmar, Sussex Central hosting Smyrna, and Cape Henlopen hosting St. George's Tech. Coast TV News at 5. We'll be right back.
A fast food chain is planning to close hundreds of its restaurants. The interim CEO of Wendy's announced a percentage estimate amount which would equate to about 200 to 350 closures of the chain's roughly 6,000 U.S. locations. He told analysts these are consistently underperforming locations that are dragging down Wendy's overall performance. The closures will start soon and continue through next year. A specific list of locations, though, that was not announced.
As the holiday season fast approaches, Target is urging its employees to add a little more jolly to their work routine. Get this, store employees are now required to smile if they are within 10 feet of a shopper. They also have to make eye contact with and wave to or greet the customer. If they're within 4 feet, the employee should ask how the customer's day is going or if they need help. Bloomberg News reports it is part of a new guidance program from Target. Now here's a live look into Laurel. Bob Trihey has one more check on your forecast after this.
Coming up new on Coast TV News at 6, House Resolution 19 voted out of committee today. When it'll be discussed again, what it is, that story and more on Coast TV News at 6.
And a good-looking Friday evening on the way. Maybe you're headed out to Friday night football or just going out to dinner. Looking really nice, and it stays mild in the 50s to right around 60 degrees with a southerly breeze. Then late tonight, that's when we could see a chance of rain and maybe some of those showers lingering very early Saturday, otherwise dry. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, weekend kind of 50-50. 69 Saturday. Sunday, a better chance of showers, maybe a rumble of thunder, 68. And then that Arctic front blows through as we go into Monday, high of 51, but falling through the 40s, and another hard freeze. We had one this morning. We're going to see another one as we go into Tuesday morning with a low around 30. Veterans Day sunshine and high of only 46, and then dry the rest of the week and temperatures into the 50s. So, you know, another blast of cold coming our way.
Big plunge there, Bob. I saw you showing that blue air
A
coming
lot
down
of blue,
our way.
but it's a short hit of cold air, just a couple of days.
I think we can handle that.
Yes, we can. Thank you, Bob, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 5.
For more news, more local weather, download our Coast TV News app.
Inside Edition is next.
And we'll see you later tonight for Coast TV News at 6. Have a great evening.